Your favorite local grocery stores like Kroger, Ralph's, Fred Meyer, and more are now delivering on Uber Eats. Get 40% off your order of fresh, quality ingredients. Whether you just got home to an empty fridge or suddenly got a craving to whip up something new, you can get everything you need delivered in as little as 25 minutes. Get 40% off your order with code Kroger2026. Plus, members get $0 delivery fees. Order now on Uber Eats. Orders of $30 or more save up to $25. Ends 4/30/26. See app for details.
TaxAct knows every small business owner has different tax filing needs. With TaxAct, you can file yourself with the help of an expert, or TaxAct can do it all for you. You're the boss, the head honcho, the top banana. And TaxAct is like your loyal, trusty tax aide, ready to pounce on any tax needs you might have. TaxAct is dying to pounce on some small business tax needs. TaxAct. Let's get them over with.
It's the show that celebrates WWE. It's Gorilla Position.
Hello, you, and welcome to Gorilla Position. No, you are a champion. Yes, you are. Thank you so much for hitting the download button on this, your pro wrestling / sports entertainment podcast of pleasure. My name is James Delow, your host and your guide through the wonderful world of WWE. And can I just talk briefly about our new theme tune? Just give it, Ben, raise it up a little bit. Come on, here we go. Oh, I love it. We haven't actually talked about it on the show, but I really love, nay, I j'adore our new theme tune for GP. It was a big decision for us. Should we change the theme tune? Because our fans really liked our previous theme tune. It was the iconic GP theme. But I'm pretty happy with this one. It's an earworm as well. Bring in those guitars. Oh yeah, boy. Anyway, it is Friday, February 23rd. Welcome to this, your Gorilla Position Friday Spesh. Thank you for downloading. This is our WWE Superstar interview episode of the week, and we have got Ben, producer Ben. Have we got one interview this week?
Oh God, no.
Have we got two?
Yes.
Yes. There should have been three to make that more dramatic, but yeah, we've got two interviews for you this week. The brilliant Natalya Neidhart and the modern-day Maharaja Jinder Mahal. There you go. There's the track ending. Lovely. Yes, Natty and Jinder Mahal both on the show this week. Now, I really enjoyed chatting to both of them over the last couple of days. They were both in Saudi Arabia. They were doing some press and publicity around the opening of the WWE Experience out there. So it's kind of this physical WWE Hall of Fame, as Natalya called it, a sort of, what did she call it? Like an amusement park. So it's the thing that us fans have been clamoring for a long time. If any of you fans have been to Access, the big WWE sort of exhibition around the big events like SummerSlam and WrestleMania, and I think actually they do it around Rumble and Survivor Series and Money in the Bank now. But it's that kind of thing, but you get all the sort of Hall of Fame goodness around it as well, in that you get all the old memorabilia and, you know, items that wrestlers wore over the years and superstar entrances, and there's a ring there. And I mean, I haven't been to WWE Experience, so I don't know exactly what's there, but from the teaser clips, it did look amazing. And I got a text from my mate who was out there who said, no joke, WWE Experience is incredible. Now, obviously, there are fans that want it in North America or the UK or just anywhere but Saudi. But that is the situation for now. We'll see how it goes down. But, you know, in terms of a physical experience, if you're a WWE fan, it does look truly incredible. So Natty and Jinder Mahal were out there promoting that, and they got a bit of time to sit down with me. And we chewed the fat about a lot of things. These are two separate interviews. I'm going to play them back to back on this here episode. Natty talks to me about whether WWE pivoted with the big Rock and Roman, Seth, Cody shenanigans. Punk's injured. What happens? Everyone hashtag we want Cody. They're booing The Rock. So she sheds a bit of light on what her thoughts are on the company pivoting around that, that change in direction when it comes to The Rock. We talk a Hart Family film. I think we talked about it on one of the Wednesday episodes. Myself and Kev went to see The Iron Claw, the story, the film biopic about the Von Erich family. So I was talking to Natty about the idea of a Hart Family film because, man, there are so many different stories they could tell about the Harts. So she talks about that. And we get into Vince McMahon and the lawsuit and the allegations. She gives me thoughts on all that stuff as well, as horrible as it is. And Jinder Mahal, he talks about working with The Rock, how all that came to be. Did he pitch to work with The Rock or did they come to him? He talks about Tony Khan's tweet and the fans' responses to it, what finishing his story might look like in WWE. So much really good stuff in these two interviews. I hope you really enjoy them. And sometimes I really like spending time with talents who, they might not be at the top of the card. They might not be part of the main event picture, but their insight and their sort of history and experience with the company is fascinating. It really is. And I hope you enjoy these chats. Hope you find them insightful. And of course, after this podcast episode is out, for fans of YouTube and watching things, the videos of both interviews will be uploaded. And just regarding YouTube, go give us a follow. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@WWEGP. I want to get to 100,000 subscribers. Lots of people, actually, and every week people are saying to us, will we start uploading full visual podcasts from the GP studio here in central London? Perhaps that could evolve into live streams as well. So many different possibilities, so many things I want to do, but I want to do it when the appetite's right. I want to do it the appetite is there. I want to do it when people are clamoring for it. And I think if we can get to 100K subscribers on YouTube, then I think maybe that is the milestone moment where we go, yep, let's put the pods on there as well. So we'll see. So yes, go and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Give us a follow on social media at WWEGP across Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and even TikTok. Yeah, we're on TikTok now. And subscribe to the newsletter as well. Head to wwegp.co.uk, our brand new website. And on the homepage, you'll see a little box where you can enter your email address, hit subscribe, and then you'll be the first to know about all our latest news around all things GP, around our live events, our premium live event watch parties, our superstar appearances. There's some cool stuff coming up across 2024. So go subscribe, and then you won't miss out. It's as simple as that. Finally, rate and review the pod wherever you get your podcasts. Your support is always immensely appreciated. So, I think that's it, really. I'm sat on my own here in the GP studio, me and Ben in the dead of night recording this. So I think we'll just throw directly to the interviews. I hope you enjoy them. Natalya Neidhart and Jinder Mahal with me in the gorilla position. Thanks so much for listening. We are going to be back on Monday to do our review show of Elimination Chamber from Perth. We broke down the card on Wednesday's episode. I'm really excited for tomorrow. I'm really excited about the show tomorrow. It should be a good one. I sort of said, is the card a little bit weak? It's not the most stacked premium live event we've ever seen, but I think in terms of the action we see and hopefully the story developments as it pertains to the road to WrestleMania, I think it's going to be all action and all a hell of a lot of fun. So hope you enjoy Elimination Chamber and catch us on Monday here on the GP podcast feed, where you can hear all our thoughts about that event from Perth, Australia. Right, this has been a Stars Rock Media production. Enjoy the interviews. We shall see you on Monday. The modern day Maharaja, former.
Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
WWE Champion Jinder Mahal. How are you today, sir?
Doing fantastic. It's a beautiful day. We're in Riyadh for the opening of the WWE experience. Everything is good.
Nice. Well, it's lovely to have you on the show again. Now, I couldn't not talk about The Rock. Your monumental promo you shared with Dwayne Johnson just a couple of weeks ago. How did that all come about? The Rock is popping by. He's going to have a segment on TV. How does it come about that Jinder Mahal is involved? Is that something you pitched for?
No, actually, I didn't pitch. I went home for Christmas. When I landed back in Tampa, I got a call from one of the writers saying, "Hey, I think you probably seen on social media that we announced the WWE Champion return." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's me." And I knew the kicker's coming, but there's going to be a bait and switch. You're actually with The Rock, and don't tell anybody. So I found out a few days earlier, and yeah, what an awesome moment! I was super excited. The Rock, one of the most amazing performers of all time, super, super giving and super easy. Just that was like the most relaxed I've ever been in a promo. Just he's an absolute pro. And in the meantime, I've been also working with an acting coach because that was actually a different side of me that I shown too. And I got a lot of positive comments and a very positive response overall in my performance. I was very happy and followed it up with a promo against Seth Rollins. Also had a title match. So all in all, it was a great start to the year. Wasn't planning on it, but luckily I stay ready year round. And that's WWE. Anything can happen at any time, just like when I became WWE Champion, kind of out of nowhere, right?
Well, I want to talk to you about The Rock because, you know, there's been a lot of chatter about him, obviously, in recent weeks. Not only is he now on the board of directors for TKO, but he's caused a huge amount of controversy surrounding the main event picture for WrestleMania. But with a talent of that stature, of that level, there must come an ego as well. There must be an ego attached. What's it been like working opposite Dwayne Johnson? How was that experience for you?
Unbelievable. Obviously, he's now a board member, so he brings, you know, a different side of entertainment to WWE, and I believe it's only going to make us bigger. Coincides with Raw moving to Netflix next year. You know, it's an amazing time for the company. Really, we're exploring uncharted territory in terms of growth, and all of us performers in the locker room are super excited. You know, Dwayne, he's a very giving performer. Based off my experience, he's always been super, super helpful. Any questions, anytime he's there on Raw and SmackDown, he hangs out after. You know, he's super, super approachable. He gets along with everybody. I think it's going to be awesome, yeah, I think overall it's a very positive thing. And the buzz going into WrestleMania, whether you know people agree with it or not, either way, it's there's a lot of interest in this WrestleMania main event. Even I'm interested. Yeah, I'm super interested. They haven't made any official announcements. Anything is still up in the air, and I think the WWE universe is really going to dictate what happens in WrestleMania this year, which I think is a great thing.
Well, as you say, it's been a very topsy-turvy road to WrestleMania 40 in Philly already. We know we're getting, or at least we think we know we're getting, Roman versus Cody. We're assuming that's going to be the main event of night 2, the Sunday night. But if Jinder Mahal had the pencil, how would you book the Saturday night? What's the main event of WrestleMania 40 night 1?
As soon as I seen the press conference, and I think we're headed that way, it was I had predicted Cody and Seth versus Rock and Roman in a tag match, and then night 2, Cody Rhodes versus Roman for the undisputed WWE Championship.
Okay, nice, yeah. I think that's the way it's going. So let's talk about the groundswell of support that you had. Like you mentioned in that promo with The Rock, that was the most comfortable you felt in the ring. And I think that's really interesting because your performance was amazing, and then your performance opposite Seth Rollins as well. But fans really got behind you. After those performances, fans really got behind you. You were trending on Twitter for days. The fans were so passionate about a renewed push for Jinder Mahal. How did that make you feel?
Yeah, it was awesome. Sometimes I feel like I don't get the credit that I deserve, but it's okay because that keeps me motivated and keeps me driven. So, but it was definitely nice to receive the support, and it just further motivated me, if anything. As I mentioned before, I've been working with an acting coach. I want to try different things now, and I believe WWE is trying different things, and we're open to trying different things. Maybe modern day Maharaja as a babyface, maybe. I'm excited. Overall, very, very positive response, not only from the fans but also from WWE, all the writers and all the people in the back, and The Rock himself. Gave me some some very nice praises. So yeah, it was awesome.
And what are your honest thoughts on Tony Khan for sending that tweet saying Jinder Mahal was not a proper number one contender?
I think Tony Khan's forgetting I'm the modern day Maharaja, former WWE champion, and being a former WWE champion, I should be number one contender anytime I want. There was the Royal Rumble happened a week after that, and if you noticed, I wasn't in it because I didn't feel there's a need. The modern day Maharaja wants a title match, he can just get one. So, but it's okay. It's overall, it's great. Caused a lot of buzz, and I appreciate everything. I appreciate the competition because it makes everybody better.
Now, you talked about, how WWE, you feel, are doing things differently at the moment. I really felt like the WrestleMania kickoff event in Vegas a couple of weeks ago, it felt monumental because it felt like the start of WWE telling stories in a different way, on a bigger stage, in a different kind of environment. Do you think in this new era of WWE, do you think it'll allow you to have more freedom out there and kind of seize on the opportunities that you think you deserve?
Absolutely. As I mentioned earlier, I really believe the WWE universe, our fans are going to dictate what happens a lot more on the show now. Because in the past, sometimes, WWE was stuck in its ways. This is the direction we're going. No matter what happens, however the crowd's going to react, they're going to react. But as a performer now, there's more flexibility in our promos too. Those two promos that I had, one with The Rock, one in Seth Rollins, it was a lot of that was what I kind of wanted to say, and I was given freedom to some level, which was awesome. You just have to trust the performers. Where we're each the individuals, we bring different things, and just let everybody shine. Right? I think it's a exciting time for WWE. It's an exciting time to be a WWE performer, and WWE is just going to keep growing. We have the WWE experience here in Saudi Arabia, and I would really like to see maybe one in India, one in the UK. All these hotbeds for WWE. It'd be awesome.
Absolutely. Very quickly, I know you're in the middle of media appearances and you're on tight deadline, so I won't keep you much longer, but I very quickly wanted to ask you about Seth Rollins, your match with him. We've already talked about it, the world title match on Monday Night Raw. Really fun match. He was injured during that match. For a while there, it looked like he might even miss WrestleMania, which thankfully doesn't look to be the case. But how is that evening for you? What did those conversations look like backstage after the match?
We didn't know how serious the injury was at that point. Just was hoping for the best for Seth. He's been such a great champion, and he's mentioned that he's never gone to WrestleMania as a champion, and that's a big thing for him. So just knowing how passionate he is and such a proud champion, he is. I was just hoping for the best, and I have a feeling he's going to make it by WrestleMania. He's a very stubborn performer, so I definitely think we're going to see Seth in WrestleMania. Luckily, at that time, it's you're unsure, you're worried. Happened in the middle of the match, and no, he's all respect to Seth Rollins. He continued the match.
Absolutely. He is a workhorse. Finally, finish your story. It's a phrase being bandied about on WWE TV a lot. It is the tagline for the new video game, WWE 2K24. But what does the phrase finish your story mean for Jinder Mahal? If you had the chance to write the final chapter of your career, what does that look like for you?
For me, it would be becoming WWE champion one more time. It's been 7 or 8 years, no championship. So to become WWE champion or world heavyweight champion or universal champion, I think that would be amazing. It would be an amazing way to cement my legacy. And one day going into the Hall of Fame, that would also be a huge moment.
Oh, I'd love that. Jinder Mahal, thank you so much for your time. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
I'm a champion!
Natalya, welcome back to Gorilla Position. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing great. I'm actually in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and I'm great. I'm just getting ready to head to the WWE fan experience. It's a big thing here that it's like nothing anybody's ever seen before with WWE. It's like an amusement park meets WWE show. So it's going to be really cool, but I've never seen it and they've been hyping it up. So it's going to be really fun.
It does look awesome. It looks really good. I saw some of the teaser videos that Triple H posted earlier. As you say, a kind of amusement park come physical Hall of Fame. I feel like it's the kind of attraction that fans have been clamoring for years. Certain fans will be disappointed it's in Saudi. Are there any rumblings of other locations for these physical experiences? You know, North America, maybe the UK. Have you heard any rumors?
I'm hearing rumblings that we're going to bring this to a lot of different places. Of course, I can't, I'm not 100% sure, but I from what I'm hearing, they want to do this elsewhere. I think with WWE being so global right now, I mean, we're the biggest that we've ever been, and we're expanding globally more than we ever have before. So I think you'll definitely see something like this down the line in the United States, in the United Kingdom, in Japan and Australia. I would love to see it in so many different places around the world because some of our biggest fan bases are outside of the United States. So we're growing so exponentially, and it's just like a really exciting time for the company, more than ever before.
Absolutely. It really is. And how are things going for you in WWE? Because you started in the developmental system in 2007, right? So 17 years ago. What an incredible run you've had with the company. I remember last time we chatted, you were a bit frustrated and you were saying you felt like you had so much more to give, and you said you were worthy of these kind of main event, high profile runs with other big talents. Now a few years have passed. Do you still feel that way, or are you more content with the role you're playing both in front of and behind the camera?
I would love to do more in the company. I've been fighting for more my entire career, to be perfectly honest. There's still so much more that I'd love to do. And I think about, I'm still young enough to be able to do all the things that I want to do. I know that when we get opportunities, we have to nail those performances. And I feel like every time I've gotten an opportunity to have, for example, a championship match like I did last year with Rhea Ripley on Raw, I felt extremely proud of that match. We did really great ratings with it, and it was just very, very well received. I remember feeling so happy with that and being like, every time I'm given an opportunity, I have to nail it because I want to be able to prove to the people that make the decisions about my career that I can go, that I can hang. And I absolutely do want more. I've always wanted more, and I still want more today. The thing is, and I stand by this, there's only so much control that I have, though, because I work for, it's a television show. WWE is a TV show. So while I may want to be the lead actress in the show, I have to keep fighting for that. And it's just like any of us. Becky Lynch has to fight for it. Rhea Ripley has to fight for it. We all have to keep fighting for it. And it's so competitive right now. And I think the company has looked at me as a stable, steady foundation for so many different reasons. But for me, it's okay to want more, and it's okay to go, hey, sometimes I want to be the bride. I don't mind being the bridesmaid, but sometimes I want to be the bride. And so I'm confident that 2024 is actually going to be a huge year of growth for me. For so many different reasons. I'm working on so many different projects right now that are really exciting, and I'm over the moon about them. But I'm excited to grow. And I think that's the biggest thing for me, is that I've never stopped wanting more, and I've never stopped fighting for more, and I've never stopped working for more. If I'm not in my ring working, I'm putting on the best performances that I can within the parameters that I'm given. But I can only control so much. So as much as I want to be the women's champion, it's not always in my hands.
And do you still get nervous? Because, we talked about you being a veteran of the game. You mentioned the opportunities and the title match against Rhea on Raw. When these opportunities are presented to you, do you feel a lot of pressure on your shoulders?
When I think about those great moments in my career, and there's been some really incredible ones that I felt like I took the ball and ran with it every time. Like the first ever women's table match, the match I had with Charlotte Flair at the very first takeover, being an Iron Woman in the second women's Royal Rumble for over 55 minutes, the being part of the first ever women's Money in the Bank match. And then of course, like I said, the match with Rhea Ripley, just being able to do so much with, I've had some great moments, and every moment I've been extremely nervous. I honestly love being nervous before I wrestle. If I'm not nervous, I feel like there's a problem, because I thrive on that energy, and I feel like the second that I'm not nervous is when I don't love it anymore and I don't want to be there. I think there's something about nerves in a good way, if you can channel them properly. I think there's something to be said about them keeping you safe. Adrenaline is really, really important for performers. And I know, like, when we didn't have fans during the pandemic, it did scare me sometimes, because I love being nervous before I walk out in front of a packed stadium or a packed arena, or having thousands of people screaming. But when you don't have anybody screaming and there's complete silence, it was almost eerie wrestling with nobody. And we worked through that, luckily, but I always get nervous, and I love it.
Yeah, nice. Well, the fans are back in a big way, and we know the fans are going to descend on Philadelphia for WrestleMania 40. What a road to WrestleMania it's already been. Absolutely crazy situation with Cody and The Rock and Seth and Roman. Can you give us any insight? Was this always the plan? Because Cody stepped aside for The Rock, and then he said, actually, at the WrestleMania kickoff event, I choose you, Roman, and he took that match. What can you tell us? Did WWE pivot, or was this the plan all along? Come on, give us something.
Let me spill the tea. I think our fans, our WWE fans, honestly they do have a voice, and whether it's on social media, whether it's whether they tune in to watch our product, they have a voice. And there was to me, the way that I look at it, and I could be wrong, but I feel like I'm not. Our fans spoke up and said, we want Cody, and Cody deserves this. And Cody's been fighting for this since, we all go back. For me, when I think about Cody working through that torn pec, I visualize what it was like for him to wrestle, where he almost had, his arm was just like you could see what kind of pain he was in. He fought so hard to come back and to finish his story. To me, Cody has been working hard for it, and he's deserved it. So I think there was this moment where it was like, okay, it's going to be, like I said, in WWE, we only sometimes, as talent, we only have so much power. When it was decided, okay, it's going to be Rock versus Roman, when the fans spoke up and they showed such an outcry for Cody, I think it made it really exciting. It honestly made Cody into the biggest babyface in the company. And what we're seeing with The Rock right now, The Rock, to me, I want to watch and see what happens. I want to see every single thing that happens. And that's the power of The Rock, is that he can pivot on the drop of a dime and make this so exciting. And he has. Now with his alliance with Roman, him talking about their family and what this means. And it's just like, this is a Rock that we've never seen before. And I think, honestly, this is my favorite version of The Rock. It's exciting. It's fun. I have goosebumps talking about how excited I am.
Do you know what? I was literally just about to say to you, you saying that has given me goosebumps. So it's clearly very exciting.
To me, it's exciting, and I'm here for the ride. And it just shows you how brilliant The Rock is to be able to kind of like maneuver this. But Cody will come out of this whole thing, I think, better than ever. And our fans do have a voice, and their voice matters, and it shows. And I love that.
Well, no matter what way it goes, I'm sure it's going to be incredibly special. Speaking of WrestleMania moments, you being a veteran of the game, you've obviously grown up in and around the business. Do you have any specific WrestleMania moments that stand out to you from over the years that you've experienced in person, whether it was backstage, in the stands, in the ring? What really sticks out for you in terms of WrestleMania moments?
Ooh, there's been so many moments that for me that I've been, I have a Guinness World Record for being a part of the most WrestleMania matches of any woman in WWE history. So I've been a part of a few really cool.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you very much. The moment that to me, like I'll never forget it, was when I got to see Tamina Snuka get her flowers in a match in 2020. Sorry, it was 2021. It was the year after the pandemic. And I remember fighting very, very hard for Tamina and I to be a tag team, because I felt like and I'm not saying by any means that Tamina's retiring, but I just felt like she had been in WWE for so long and she hadn't really gotten her flowers. She had never won a women's championship. And so I made it like my mission to see what we could do together as two strong forces, from her being from the Samoan dynasty and me being from like the Hart dynasty, these two incredibly powerful wrestling families coming together as women representing our families. And I came up with this idea, like I said, I want to be a tag team with you. And I fought for it. I fought for it with everything I had, and I wouldn't take no for an answer. I was like, we have to do this. And I want to, my mission was to help Tamina get gold, and to see it come to life, and to see what we had been fighting for together, and to see Tamina really believe in herself. And then to see her in that match against Shayna and Nia Jax on night 2. Even though we didn't win the match, it didn't matter. There was a stadium full of people chanting Tamina's name. And again, it goes back to our fans having a voice and rallying behind somebody that they feel deserves it. And when we really could see what Tamina could do if she was given a chance, if she was just given a chance to have a little bit of a spotlight, that to me was so powerful. And I remember The Rock, he sent us both a video message before we walked out on stage and for that match. He said, "Hey girls," he filmed this beautiful message, and he said, "I want you guys to take this in." He's like, "Just when you walk out through that curtain, look around and look at the fans and look at just take a minute. Don't just take a minute to really understand what our families went through to get there, to get you girls here." And he goes, just soak it up, because you girls are representing the women of our families, and never take that for granted. I don't want that to ever be lost on you. And it always meant so much to me that he sent that message. And Tamina just had tears. She cried for days after that match of happiness, because she had never gotten that chance to shine. So that's honestly one of my favorite WrestleMania moments. It's an obscure little moment that probably not very many people think of, but when you watch another woman or another person, but for me in this case it was a woman, when you watch another woman so deserving finally get her flowers, it was just, to me, it was so incredibly meaningful.
Well, do you know what? I really appreciate you telling me that story, because I think us as fans, we can often sit back and be like, oh, is this person going to get a spot at WrestleMania? Is that person going to get a spot at WrestleMania? But actually learning firsthand from the talents what those spots mean is really quite special. Speaking of special, I've got to talk to you about the Hart family, your incredible family. I was lucky enough to go to the UK premiere of The Iron Claw recently, the film about the Von Erichs and their tragic story. But surely there is a story and a film to be made about the Harts. Is that something you're having any discussions about? Is that something in the works? Is that something you'd like to get off the ground? Something I can help you with?
I saw The Iron Claw too, and it's funny because after I watched that movie, I sent Brett a text and I said, Brett, this movie's he hadn't seen it at this point, and I said, this movie's awesome. I loved it, and Brett said, he's like, the Von Erich family actually got into professional wrestling through our family, because my grandfather met Fritz Von Erich in Edmonton, and he was trying out or doing something with the Edmonton Eskimos. And my grandfather saw him and he's like, "You're a big guy. You should get into professional wrestling." So the Von Erich family actually moved onto the property at the Hart House. And my grandfather broke in Fritz Von Erich into the business. Wow. And I just, to me, that was so powerful. I loved The Iron Claw. I thought it was really beautifully done. I thought Chavo Guerrero did an incredible job as far as the teaching people that had never done this before. Just goes to show you what an incredible coach he is, another third generation wrestler. But for me, I think there is huge potential in telling a story about, my family, whether there's lots of ways that you could go with it. I mean, our family is so big. There's so much meat on the bone. Even just the story about me as a woman growing up in this crazy world and kind of seeing it through my eyes. You could tell a whole story on the Hart Foundation. You could tell one on the entire family. You could tell a whole story on the life and times of Stu Hart. My grandfather actually was a homeless boy, grew up in a tent, in the Saskatchewan wilderness. And one of the ways that he stayed alive during the winters was he joined the YMCA and started wrestling there just so he didn't freeze to death. That's how important wrestling is to my family. So when you think about the meat on the bone, there's so much meat on the bone as far as how many stories could be told about the Hart family. But I am working on something that is very close to my heart, and it's something that I'm really, there's a few things I'm working on that I'm really excited about, and you just never know. I think that 2024 though is going to be a huge year of growth for me, and I'm really excited about just being able to grow. I really feel like that's something I need to do, and I'm going to be able to do it this year. So I'm excited.
Now, I hope you don't mind me asking about this, but I feel like, it's not nice at all, but it's too big to be ignored. Vince McMahon and all the allegations and the lawsuit that's come out, a horrible period and a horrible situation. But what's the feeling like backstage now WWE are sort of trying to enter this new phase?
I think for especially being in the heart of the women's locker room and being like, I feel like I have a good pulse on the girls, and like my relationships with the girls are all really strong. For me, the biggest focus is inclusion for the women and making sure that the women in WWE right now shine brighter than we ever have before. I think that's the most important takeaway for me at this moment, is that all we can do is just move forward. And, it's hard to not see everything you have to be living under a rock if you haven't, for me, like it's, you see this and you see that. It's so much to process and it's so much to absorb. But when I think about what grounds me, it's my relationships with the girls in the locker room, how we can stay positive for each other, how we can be supportive of each other, just being there to talk to each other, work through feelings, because something like this just hits everybody differently. You never know about what people have gone through in their childhood or what people have gone through in general. So to me, it's a time of being very empathetic and just being there for each other, especially in our women's locker room. I want to see the women shine brighter than ever before. I want to see the women just do great things this year. We've got a women's division in WWE that's the best it's ever been, with new additions like Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton on the main roster. And I mean, even when I watch NXT, I'm just blown away by the level of talent and women that are coming up and that we're going to get a chance to work with. There's so many talented women on Raw and SmackDown and NXT, and the girls that are training. To me, the best thing we can do is give women as many opportunities as we can to shine right now, and for women to feel included, safe, and welcome, and welcome to shine, and to know that we have a voice in WWE, to know that we can turn to people within the company and say, hey, this is what I'm feeling, and to not feel afraid. I think that's extremely important. And I feel like right now the girls are all just focusing on WrestleMania. I would love to see lots of women included in this year's WrestleMania and celebrating a great year, because to me, when I look at WrestleMania, it's like the women that have worked so hard all year long, I want them to be included in that show. And I know not everybody can be included, but I would love to see lots of women represented this year at WrestleMania. I would love to see the women shine at Elimination Chamber. I can't wait to see what the women are going to do tonight on SmackDown. I want to see the girls really take the WWE by storm this year and just focus all of this into a positive for us in the locker room.
Well said. Well said, Natty. Thank you so much for that. Finally, finish your story. It's a phrase being bandied about on WWE TV a lot. It's the slogan for the new video game, WWE 2K24, proud sponsors of GP. But what does the phrase mean to you? What does finish your story mean to Natty? If you could write the final chapter of your career, how does that go?
Well, my best days have never happened. They haven't happened yet. My best matches haven't happened yet. My best moments haven't happened yet. And I feel like very much, it's funny because Bret Hart said that he never really hit his prime until he was 40. And I feel like there's just so much more to do and so many more stories to be told. And for me, I would love to win another championship in WWE, and I would love to do more. There's just so much more that I want to do. But the most important thing that any of us can do, no matter what level you're at in WWE, whether you're a beginner at NXT, whether you're on the main roster, whether you've been here for a couple years, whether you've been here for an unprecedented 17 years like myself. The biggest and most important thing that any of us women can do in the division is to continue to want to give back, because you always get what you give. And I feel like if every girl focuses on giving back, they'll get 10 times more personally. So we keep building the foundation, we keep building our women's division, and we'll have a women's division that's thriving, so that you never know, maybe one day there will be an entire show dedicated to women in the WWE.
Love that. Natty, thank you so much for your time. So lovely to see you again, and can't wait to see you in person very soon.
I am so excited to see you again too, and thank you for giving me this time. I appreciate it so much, James.
Gorilla position.